What's up, everybody? We back with another message, another video. Thank you to all my new subscribers and future new subscribers. You know we do nothing here without God because everything is spiritually led by God over here. We cover the world from a spiritual and physical aspect to get the raw, real, and uncut answers. So anything you hear, anything you see in these end times, may you test the spirits, aka take the words and visuals back to prayer with God, as there are many Decepticons running around in these end times sent from the enemy. Had that strong, close, and personal relationship with God. Good, great, and awesome. All right, everybody. So I just want to give a little bit of clarity on the experience I had this weekend when the Lord allowed me to go to heaven. So just to give a bit more clarity, because that experience was so intense. It's like, and then hearing God himself speaking to me on a daily basis and hearing him again, and then talking to Jesus before I go up. Let me give y'all some clarity on what exactly the Lord was showing me and allowing me to experience up there, okay? Because it was really, really, really cool. So just using some scripture this time, because I know people probably had some questions about that. And I did have to change the title of my other video because I was like, okay, that was a lot going on, but I'm going to give y'all some clarity on what I saw and what he was allowing me to see. So now that I am more calmed down, nothing will ever be the same after that. But basically, I'm just going to read some scripture for you all and then explain to you what I saw. So yes, John 1:18, no one has seen God at any time, the only begotten Son who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. Okay, so let me take you to Daniel 7:9-10. Okay, vision of the Ancient of Days. I watched till thrones were put in place, and the Ancient of Days was seated. His garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like pure wool. His throne was a fiery flame, and its wheels a burning fire. Okay, so we're going to stop it there. Revelation 1:14, his head and hair, which this is Jesus' return. This is what Jesus will look like in his return. His head and hair were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes like a flame of fire. And so the combination, if you put those two together, that is what I got. So I'm going to break y'all down the process after going up the elevator with earthly Jesus, if that makes sense. So I was looking at earthly Jesus's image first. Go up the elevator. I don't even know how to describe it. Go up there, see what I'm seeing about blessings and stuff. Boom, up there, right? So it's like kind of foggy. It's kind of like, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's light, but it's kind of dark in the back. It's like, you know how you would be in outer space, but you're not in outer space, but then there's light. It's really hard to describe what this stuff is like, if that makes sense, because we just don't see this. So I see the Seraphim and I see light. So I'm like, whoa, it's really, really bright, y'all, this whole time. And I do explain that it's really, really, really bright. So I'm clearly seeing this light and a figure seated. So I can't really see the details in full at first from that distance. And the figure is seated, but it's all light, like straight up light. But you cannot see that well. But I can see around the presence. And you have the Seraphim. 6 winged figures on each side. So I break that down for you. Now, speed of light, up in my face, right? Now, this is where I'm going to give the clarity. Remember how I explained to y'all red on the, I forgot which side it was on. Red on the left, blue on the right, or something like that, was the eyes. But both eyes had different colors, one red and one blue. And the hair was white as wool. Now, at this point, I'm like, okay, this is what Jesus will look like during his return. Really, really similar due to Daniel 7:9-10, which is very, very, what do you call it? Unique. And the Ancient of Days, which is God. God is the Ancient of Days. And that's basically what I was experiencing, seeing the Ancient of Days in that format that's already written. Do that make sense to people? So it wasn't nothing crazy like I was seeing, oh my gosh, like I'm seeing this unknown image of the Lord or God. No, it was more so, to be clear, basically this bright light that I couldn't see details. And then when zoomed in on me, basically Revelation 1:14, what Jesus will look like during his return, and a mixture of like that Daniel 7:9-10 and Revelation 1:14. Do that make sense to people? That's what I was basically experiencing. And then my hand was grabbed. I was being walked over to the table. Seated at the table was a lot of symbolism and whatnot. I also want to add Exodus 33:19-23. We're going to read pieces of that, because basically this was similar to what happened to me, but breaking down those different pieces as we're doing here to make it make sense to people, you know. But he said, you cannot see my face, for no man shall see me and live. And the Lord said, here is a place by me, and you shall stand on the rock. So it shall be, while my glory passes by, that I will put you in the cleft of the rock and will cover you with my hand while I pass by. Then I will take away my hand, and you shall see my back, but my face shall not be seen. So that also explains why I could not see his face from a distance, if that makes sense. I couldn't see his face from a distance. It was so light, I couldn't even see. And then when he stood up and zoomed towards me, it was more of that mixed representation of what Jesus would look like and his return mixed in with Daniel's vision. So instead of seeing God directly, it was Jesus' return image mixed with Daniel. Do that make sense to people? And that's kind of how God was like allowing it to happen, to show me and give me this experience. It was a mixture. So he made it to where I didn't see his face, but I still was able to have a visitation in heaven and experience how powerful his presence is. I don't know how else to really say it, just to be clear, because it's just, that's all I can really say. You know, that was his way of giving me that, if that makes sense to people. And it's like a piece of me never left there. So today, when the Lord has been talking to me, this is what I'm seeing. Do that make sense to people? I hope it does. I just wanted to make that clear, because y'all got to understand, in my situation in that moment, I wasn't ready for that. And I was like, what is going on? Like, what am I seeing? Like, am I alive on earth? You know what I'm saying? Or am I going to go back? Like, I don't know what happened to me. So I'm just having this experience up there. So me coming back down to earth, I'm like, let me get it together. Let me get it together. Let me get it together. And process what happened to me. So I do want to give clarity to y'all on that, just to be clear what I was seeing, because it was really a lot going on. Not your everyday visitation. Okay, for those that are like, wait, what? Just to give you some clarity. So basically a mixture of Daniel 7 and Revelation 1:14, okay? All right, peace and blessings, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.